Welcome to another episode of Mojave River Valley News. Now this is a special episode because where we are is we're on the floor of the National Broadcast Association, NAB's conference here in Las Vegas. And some of the things we want to talk about in this episode is, it's not necessarily the high-tech TV stuff. We want to talk about where the entry-level stuff is, where you want to do your own podcasting, or you might want to do your own radio program or your own video program. This is the place where you're going to find a lot of the essence of the equipment here that helps you get you started, because now this industry today is very inexpensive to get into. So what we're going to do here, we're doing a live feed here. So please don't forget to subscribe, because this is real important for us. But watch the feed. So we're going to be on the floor here for probably at least 2 hours, and our cameraman's going to follow us around. So what I have, we're in the Sony booth here today. If you notice, there's a lot of cameras across here, and these all the way down the other end where you probably have $100,000 cameras, down to the entry-level cameras at this end here that are probably anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 cameras. And what you have is a great place to be able to test the camera. A lot of people here maybe are professionals that use cameras all the time. Other folks here are just people that are saying, you know what, this is something new to me. I want to upgrade my camera. Maybe you're still using a 1080p camera and you want to go to a 4K camera, saying it's time to make that step and so forth. So the cool thing is, if you look at the other different actors behind us, they just sit and read a book or whatever, and it's all being lit here, so you get a chance to test these cameras live. Now what we're going to do, we're going to kind of move around on the floor here. So a lot of the stuff you're going to see in this is, a lot of this is upper level production stuff. We're going to go ahead and walk through the booth here. You're probably not going to find a lot of things that you'd be using to be able to, you know, fit the scheme that maybe you're wanting to try to get into. Or, you know, on the other side of it, the coin, you may be the person that's already into this industry here. But one of the things that's neat about this is we're seeing today where there's more and more people that are doing stuff, no matter if it's on Facebook or YouTube. These aren't big professionals out there that are doing this. These are folks that are just saying, you know what, I have a story to tell and I want to be able to tell it. And that's what it gets all down to. So we're going to go and venture around the room here. The cameraman's going to follow me around. So, you know, sometimes I want to let you know this is a live feed. So you might find different times where things don't look quite right. Well, the reason for that is we're shoving out through the internet here. You're watching us live on YouTube today, and we are going to edit this and post this as one stream later on. And we'll be able to put a lot of, you know, notes at the bottom and tell you different things or stuff we come across that you might say, you know what, I'm interested in getting involved in this. So you can contact that company and say, all right, how do I get into this? What kind of money I need to throw at this? So we're going to venture around the room here. This is kind of a dark room here. Let's see what we can find here. A lot of this room here is upper level production stuff that you're going to find maybe a TV station's going to use, or maybe somebody that's just upper level editing work. Across this side of the room here, you're going to find a lot of folks here. These aren't necessarily always Sony products. These are Sony partner products. These are partner products that fit with the Sony equipment in here. So you're going to see a lot of these across. You're going to come around across the other side of the room over here. With the introduction of 4K, it allowed the video to go to a higher level. It also allowed the 1080p to be a solid level. And that's where you're going to find most of the stuff on YouTube and so forth. It's going to be broadcasting at 1080p. Is it really necessary to go to 480? Yeah, it is. But it's not that necessary to be able to have a great quality video. Let's head on down to the other side over here. When we were at CES back in January, and we're going to show you the convention floor here, I mean, it was just empty and dead. Today, this is not the same NAB conference that I've been to in the past. Not even close. On this side over here, we have a lot of these products. Again, these are private companies that partner with the Sony equipment here. All kinds of stuff, from drones to all kinds of different lines here. These are things that work with the equipment. Let's head on out of the booth here. Let's get on back on the main convention floor. in the past there, if you got yourself involved in video, you'd be working with a camera. For example, this company here, that might be even a $100,000 or $200,000 camera. Not necessary anymore. And if you really get out there and get exploring out there, all the kind of things to do for stabilization, you could be the first person on your block to have a stabilization system like this.
Tighter. Cloud base first. There, I need.
Now on the back side, we are deep into the convention center here. So what we're going to do is we're going to serpentine around here and see what kind of interesting stuff we can find. One of the things you might be, and many people are interested in doing, you'll see more people doing this all the time. If they're really wanting to get into this, they'll get into something that's like a green screen in their garage, or maybe in a spare bedroom or so forth. And we're going to be able to see some of that stuff like that today. Back at the CES conference, we saw a lot of drone stuff, and if you look over here, you have drone helicopter pads for your drone to land. I guess that's important. I don't know. It stops the dust from flipping up everywhere, right? Some of the companies that sell a lot of product out there, over here, the side over here, is B&H. B&H and Adorama, those are big companies. A lot of this stuff, you can look at the gear, on for example, on Amazon. But one of the things I always want to say, if you can buy this equipment locally, try to buy local when you can. That's just important for our local economies, no matter where you are. But these big companies here, you're not going to find a lot of these products that you're going to be wanting to get involved in. This is not available locally. The local store is not going to have this stuff. So it looks like this whole thing is the B&H store here, where they're showing the different products. And a lot of these products might be at that home level, and maybe we should try to go through it and serpentine back around in here. Again, we see another, or B&H, for example, is, if you can swing around and see this. So you get a chance to come in here and try some of the cameras. I see some bigger cameras in there. I see smaller cameras. I see SLRs there. All kinds of stuff that you would use. So you get a chance at a conference like this to see what you're going to buy before you buy it. That's what these folks are doing right here. Lenses, trust me, you don't need to go to this level to do what you want to do. I'm going to say this booth here, we're talking about some of the bigger cameras, the more expensive stuff. So I think I see a red over there. I see some different things in here. Some big cameras. If you start to get into this deep, one of the things you're going to need are good quality monitors, because the monitor itself is going to show you exactly what you're editing, what you're seeing on the screen and so forth. Here's just a good example of an LG monitor. You know what? If you really want to get involved in this, this is probably one of the best buys that you can actually do over anything else. I mean, you can actually get by even doing this stuff with the simple, $250 to $300 GoPro. That's all it takes sometimes. It's the monitor that's going to make the biggest difference when you're doing your editing, to say, all right, what am I seeing? At least, I mean, a lot of times some of the monitors are like 1080p monitors. These, I'm sure, are 4K plus monitors. So you want to get a good quality monitor. Another thing we're going to see a lot of at the convention, we're going to try to make sure this is correct. So there's a lot of small lighting products. We are using a small light here to make sure that when I'm on the screen, no matter what I'm doing on the floor here, that I'm popping. So if you're going to get a camera, you want to also look at good lighting. Let's swing around to the other side of the booth, see what we can see over here. There's all kinds of stuff going on over here. what we see on the different places more and more all the time are people doing this small video stuff with a small gimbal or small. A problem DNA here today. So what B&H has done here is they brought out all the different vendors out here to show the products they're selling. Very, very smart. Very, very smart. Some of the lighting you're going to go ahead and find out there is very simple. For example, like simple box lighting. That's what we see off the side over here. We'll see more of this as we move down across the floor here, but this is not real expensive, but it's also make sure that if you're doing stuff in studio, that it's nice and clean. We're pushing 8K here. This is kind of interesting here. So the question is, when you're looking at 8K, are you really seeing anything better than what you've seen at 4K? Tiny, tiny bit. But where it comes in really in handy, this is something you don't have to come into starting into the industry. If you really want to get involved, you don't have to start with an 8K camera or a 4K camera. You go and start with a 1080p camera. And when you step into this, you'll find that when you're working with, for example, in the future, maybe a 4K or 8K camera, now you have something that can work easier as far as editing, because now you can cut it back down to what you want to cut it to. Cinematic drones. $12,000 drone. Now the drone that we use for most of our stuff is the Mavica, the Pro 2. It does a great job. It has a Hasselblad camera built into it. But if you need to do something spectacular in the future, this is not entry-level stuff. But just make sure you know that it's available.
Taylor, good to meet you. What's up, dude? Come on.
Today what we're using for our shots here, we're using a lab mic. Lab mics will work. They're going to pick up a lot of outside noise. So when you're thinking about doing your cinematic stuff or your podcast stuff or whatever it might be, you're going to pick up stuff and you have to recognize it. So a lot of these things you can filter out to a certain extent, like the background noise in here. A lot of the products today, we'll come over to the Adobe booth in one of our segments here and show this. But a lot of times if you're needing something really, really clean, you want to stop into a shotgun mic, something that can get you really close to whoever is speaking and be able to pick that up. This is a whole different level, but you know what? If you look at the pricing on this, just a few $100s and you get a nice shotgun mic. Or a boom mic, I guess, depending on how you're using it.
That's all the business guys. Take any questions.
Some of the things at these conferences is really good. You can sit in on little speaking things, and you sometimes can learn more here than you can learn on for example, in the conference area. Because these are sometimes a lot of the experts are bringing in for a very short period of time, speak on something maybe for just 20 minutes. But it's usually nice and clean. Something that's a lot of information. Here's a company here. We're seeing more and more of this all the time here. These box. There's a soft box here, but what's using is LED panels behind it, and you can get a really tight, so it isn't like these big boxes, soft boxes. That's going away, but puts out a nice, even light pattern. That's what soft boxes do. I guess the sad thing is we're looking back at the rest of the convention center that's not filled here. This is usually at NAB, this is solid. There's another hall here they call the South Hall, which is 2 floors, and usually it's solid. So you can see that this is scaled way down, but remember NAB has not done this, oh my gosh, what has it been, 3 years almost? If it's not 3, it's at least 2. So, hey, we're gonna move around the other side over here. Another great softbox. What we're still looking for, I want to make sure we're finding stuff that would fit exactly what we're talking about in this program here. Is the entry-level type of equipment that you might need to be able to do this. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled here as I'm going through here, because remember, this is the first time we've been on the floor here. We just showed up a little bit ago. This is Monday, and we're going right through this. I got to take a look at it. This is pretty amazing here. I guess what I'm kind of looking at this, say, you know what, next time you go out camping and you want to bring out your lawn chair, why not bring your gaming equipment, everything else, your camera equipment, so you got your whole set out in front of you. You don't need to sit anywhere. You sit in a little nice little chair. And oh my gosh, it's soft. But I like this. It's a whole different line for doing on-site cinema stuff. A little bit crazy, but I love it here with the steering wheel of the car here. It's probably a car that they got a remote control car running. Or, you know, I tell you, it's not that. It's the remote control for the dolly. I just want to glance on this real quick here. So what you see a lot of times is different shots are being done out there. They'll be done with a dolly like this, where you see something going down the road. But I love this one here because you got your lawn chair, driving the dolly. Gosh, life is getting easy for these guys. What happened to the days where they were hanging off the side of it, right? I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. This is kind of interesting. I guess we're talking about, we're seeing where, I guess, cameramen get injuries, and I guess they're here to help fix that, I guess. I don't know. Let's keep moving. When you are doing your drone stuff, you'll find that when you're out in the field there, I'm talking about not at the professional level, what they have here, but I'm talking about, for example, on your own little drone. You'll get out there, and your first time you have your drone, you're going to have your cell phone hooked to it, and you're going to have your little remote control, and you will not be able to see the screen. So having different type of screens, so our drone products that we use, we're ready for them in case you're in high lighting conditions, because you got to be able to see what you're filming. So this is some of the stuff to think about that's happening out there, as far as for just making be able to see your drone screen. More softbox stuff here. I want to show this type of lighting over here, because what you're seeing is lighting that is actually coming from underneath the umbrella here. It gives a nice softer feel. What he's showing there is on the helmet here, how you can get those two looks. Because you want to phase in a little bit of light, a little bit of dark, that depth.
Well, we also, like in that part of our process, we always do
We're coming back from around us. Let's go ahead and serpentine through this. Usually this area of the convention center is just slug full of these huge monstrous booths like the Sony was. It's not here this year. Memory modules, memory collection. You know, this other part that has changed in for example, us doing photography work, is that when you're running this stuff, it takes a lot of memory. For example, this shot for this weekend here, we'll probably be burning possibly as much as 200-300 gig worth of data that we're going to be collecting in film. So memory has dropped in price. Now we've seen where the market, not only the cameras, the memory, all the components have dropped in price. But you could do this today yourself. So I'm kind of looking around here. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff here. All kinds of stuff here. Let's come across this way here. Most of the stuff, like I said earlier, this is upper level professional stuff. if you're trying to do a scene where you're trying to make sure the scene's a little dynamic, if you look across over here, this is where the camera's on a track. This gives you that pan effect when you're moving across. This is some upper level stuff that's happening. For example, if you're trying to get into this industry here, but it gives you a whole nice effect. And I like this one here because it's curvable. I like that a lot. So all right, let's say you've gotten yourself involved in the industry, and I think what I want to show this right here. So now you've gotten yourself deep into this. Your pocketbook has gone crazy on you, and you're saying, you know what, I need to do different scenes that are going to do the exact effect that I want. What they have here is the camera. You see how it goes around? So your subject, or whatever you're trying to film, could be in the middle of this. This stuff here these are items that you could not ever afford before. You couldn't touch this type of industry. These are containers for moving your stuff around. From here, let's come back around this side here. See what we can find over here that's interesting. More LED lights. One of the amazing things is LED lighting. LED lighting is changing rapidly. So for example, you can buy an LED light to put on your camera, a couple $100, and it's going to more than do the trick. There's a large array of LED panels to play through here. You can take a look at that. Let's come into the Shure booth. Shure booth is a high-end mic, high-quality mics. They make really, really high-quality mics. It might be your first mic that you're going to get. It might be your second mic. Let's swing around this side over here.
It looks like
We're using here with us, we're not using a Sony system, but I mean the Sony would actually do a better job for us. Today we're using a Kamika wireless system here. But Sony makes great wireless systems because, I mean, I'm out here, there's no cord, there's nothing running back to the camera at all. Let's come around and see what they have on the other side here. You can see here the good example of the boom mic operator. It's just a little example of that. So when you're doing your different pieces out there, take a look at this and you'll see that to get that high quality sound, you got to get the mic as close as you can to the shot. Or like I said, you could just use it on a lav like I am. I'm going to swing around this side over here, see what's going on here. Some more dollies. Editing, huge editing, way beyond us, way beyond what we're wanting to do today. But one of the things I want to show you over here, because many of you might be getting involved in trying to do a simple podcast. And this is a company here that I've seen, they've very simple arms where you can have an audio podcast, or maybe it can even be video. This is the one I really like the most over here. Very simple, move the mic, you have your mic attached to this. You could build your own table, you could do whatever you wanted to do with this, but these are the things that I know a lot of folks out there going, you know what, I got this story to tell, I'm going to start talking about podcasting. Let's swing back this way, let's loop around here, see what we can find here, because we want to make sure we're looking for stuff that you would probably want to use. That's a big box light. It reminds me of different reflectors that you might use, for example, out on a shot. Even our own light here, what we're having a challenge with is that sometimes the cameraman here that's following me around on the dolly has to bring up and down the screen there, because at one moment I have a dark background, I'm going to be blurred out. But you know what? We're doing this live, so just kind of hang with us. If the lighting isn't perfect, we're just trying to do the best we can here for you, because we want to see this stuff live. A lot of lighting. I love this. Gives you a kind of a look and feel what's behind your LED panel here. Just a lot of little tiny circuits. I think this company here does sound production software. I know a lot of folks use today the Adobe products, and we'll get on the other side and take a look at the Adobe. One of the things about Adobe is they have a product that's called Creative Cloud, and what Creative Cloud is like for like 30 bucks a month, you get all the products that you need to do without coming out and saying, well, I guess I need to come up with $1,000 or $2,000 worth of product. A lot of these brands, I'm going to be honest with you, I recognize many of them, but I don't recognize all of them in here. And I've been trying to follow this industry the best I can. These are all monitoring equipment here. They're just showing you how you can do your cameras remote. Some of the things that, for example, let's say you have somebody that's helping you with the production, and you have your cameraman doing stuff for you, but maybe you want to watch the stuff on another screen to say, all right, what's this actually looking at? You can run a feed back to that so they can see what's happening here. This is another monitoring company. Let's head back over here. A lot of high-level professional cameras here. Some of these companies, what they're selling is not the camera as much as the lenses and so forth. So, teleprompters. I've never been a fan of teleprompters. I've had a couple of my own TV programs in the past. They're important if you have a lot of data. It's a little bit entry. You can do this stuff on even on your cell phone, or you can even do this on an iPad and just be able to have it so it scrolls. And even some of the software today, well, you keep track of what you're saying and know the next word that needs to come up so that it moves for you, so you don't have somebody scrolling stuff. In the old days, what you had is somebody that all this stuff was printed on a piece of paper, and there would be somebody actually rolling it off a mirror so you could see it through a camera. So where the camera is in here, it's behind this. And I don't know if you can see it from there, you might have to go to the other side on it. You'll see where the camera is shooting through a mirror here. Teleprompter. Can you see it back there? Oh, it's behind, it's in the bag. So some of the stuff that happens behind the scenes, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm going to say it again here, you can do, if you felt you have a whole script that you're wanting to do with teleprompter, you can do it dirt cheap. That's a bright light. Boy, that'll shine out some light there. Those reflectors. Let's come back through here, see if we can get through here. Cable management. We don't need to do anything with cable management, I know that for sure. Let me see where we want to go from here. Let's head over this way. I like these new light bars they're using. Very, very simple stuff, and they're not very much money. We'll talk about batteries later because all this stuff takes batteries. Over and over and over again, you're going to go through your batteries going, I have a dead battery, now what am I going to do? For example, we bring a suitcase full of batteries to do this for you guys.
So it's a collaborative effort on the technical side.
And so this is what they're doing is they have different guests that come on and they'll have different panels here talking about all kinds of stuff. So really what they're doing is they're doing a podcast here. Let's swing over here maybe and see it a little better.
2 days of shooting, 3 environments, 1 relight.
1 pre-light day, plus 1 low-10 day.
So they're bringing in a couple of experts of some type of technology or some type of a show here. There was one earlier I know that was that we missed here that was just talking about people starting up and doing podcasting.
Very well prepared. He was in the set with us.
So let's move on.
As well, but it's a large order to shoot all of that.
Oh boy gosh, I'm not sure where I need to go next here. Let's head across this way here. A lot of big lenses in this area. Not something that's in my budget even to go out and buy a $100,000 or $200,000 lens just for your camera. That doesn't include the camera. Let's take a look over here, see what we can find across this side over here. All this stuff is beyond what we really want to use or talk about. Here's a tripod company. A lot of simple products. One of the things we're constantly doing here is trying to figure out how, if you can swing around, this is another company that just has all the little gadgets to just make it more simple for you to do what you need to do. No matter if, gosh, it's like when we go out and shoot something, maybe it's just a tripod that's this big that folds out. It may be something like, for example, like a selfie stick that shoots way out. So if you're doing stuff that you need to do, it might be as far as actually taking an upper level tripod, or doing what we do today is we have a tripod that's actually on a wheeled dolly. So you depend on what specs you are, but I'll tell you, all this is within your cost. Let's head this way.
And then you had all the, and that was it. You didn't have a problem.
So this is kind of interesting because I'm seeing a company here that's probably doing something very similar to what we are today. So what we're doing is we're taking the feed from our camera. We're taking the feed from the camera. It goes to an encoder. The encoder goes to a I guess you would call it just an IP device, and that goes out through our wireless router out of the building here. Full control room. So Mal, 10 years from now when you get this down to a science, your control room could look like that.
Oh yeah, good toys.
Let's serpentine back the other side here.
The question is how far is it? Away.
One of the nice things, and we'll get across because I think they're in the other building, is a lot of the GoPro stuff or the small camera stuff. For example, you might want to have a shot and you're saying, you know what, how do I do this cinematically just so that it makes it look great? Where I'm going to go ahead and have here a shot on me here, then you're going to have another shot maybe coming from another camera to the side and another camera from this side over here. And in a minute here, I'm going to go ahead and have the cameraman, what we're going to do is have him take the GoPro and give you an idea of that. So when we're doing the editing on this, you won't see this today in the live shot, but you'll be able to see this where I'm looking at a camera, but another camera's doing maybe a 15 to maybe a 20-degree angle of me just as another perspective. This increases the quality of what you're doing in your programming. You know, there's a lot of things you're going to learn that we've learned over the last, oh my gosh, 4 years, 5 years of doing different things for different clients and stuff, that you're going to go ahead and find different tricks that make it more enjoyable to watch what you're trying to do. So I think that the cameraman can go ahead and do a 20-degree angle on me right now, about right here. I'd say about right there. If you could do it right from there so I can show the effect. Right there, stay right there. So now you can go down a little bit so it's the same perspective as the camera. A little bit up, a little bit up, a little bit up. There we go. So now I'm talking to you on the main camera, and what we're going to do is we're going to shift off, and you're going to actually see a different perspective of me for another camera. It's just only 15 degrees off. All right, we ready to move on? More lighting. You know, one of the things I really am excited to see in lighting is where used to be, if you wanted to change the color range, what they call the K of the color. For example, the sun is about 55, I think 5600K or something like this. Warm lighting in your house might be where it's not so bluish color. That might be anywhere from 32 maybe to 4000. A lot of this lighting today is you don't have to change out the bulb to a different bulb to get that right to match the lighting out there. You just turn a knob. When you turn the knob, it automatically changes what the color correction is as far as the lighting K. Let's come across over this side here. See what we can find on this side over here. So some big boom cameras here. Let's come back over here. Big boom cameras. These are those shots that you see happen that are that you're wondering, how in the world did they get that over the whole audience maybe? That's what they use. They use big boom pieces like this. This one's even on a horizontal dolly. Let's swing around this side here because we missed some of this stuff over here. Then we'll come back on the other side of the conference. Something to think about if you really want to get involved in this are the halo lights. And if it give the cameraman to maybe come around the other side, you can see this. This is the back side of this. And what you'll have is you'll have your cell phone camera in the front here. What this is designed to do here is give you a large different effect. What you're going to get from it, you'll see a lot of people on TV will get that little twinkle in their eye, that little circle in their eye. That's because of these. I'm not a big fan of these because I think it distracts you from the person that's watching it with you have this little twinkle in their eye. I like the soft boxes that give you a nice big pattern so you don't see that specific sparkle. All right, so look at the difference on my face. Can you see it? You might have to move around this side over here with the camera and see what it looks like. The different lighting. So now what you have is you have white light on this side of my face and a color on this side of my face. Kind of interesting effects you can do. Once you get doing this stuff, you're going to find it is a lot of fun. And I'm not even the technical guy. I just love reading about it. So one of the things we have done in some of our shots in the past there is you'll have a part of the room that needs a colored lighting. So what we'll do is we'll take, for example, a blue light or a red light and just shine it on a part of the room, just give the room some depth, some accent. A lot of fun stuff. I love this daylight control for your windows. If you can see over there. So a lot of times when you're doing this in your house, you're doing your own little podcast, you're going to find, oh my gosh, I'm doing it at 3 o'clock, I'm going to have different lighting. If you do it in the morning, you have different lighting. You do it at night, you're not going to have any light coming from outside at all. And your shots will always look different. They won't look consistent. You'll look like and saying, all right, your lighting is all over the place. So I love it. A little bit of blinds to take care of the background there. I like the blinds. Like the blinds.
You want to show us off?
We'll talk about the blinds because this kind of fits what we're talking about here. What we're doing is our audience here is really the person that's just getting involved, wants to get involved in video, is doing it in their house. And the problem is you know, your lighting, like I was explaining here a moment ago, is like in the morning it's going to be a different light in your room that you're doing this. It's going to be different in the afternoon, different at night. There's no light at all.
Right.
So would you have a little blind box you just put in front of the windows?
Well, actually, we do big studios, but we're developing something that you could put in front of the window.
That's perfect because it's needed out there, but I can see what you're talking about for big studios and stuff. You know, very, very good, very good. All right, I don't know what happened to my cameraman, but no, thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thanks, Eric.
So that's a company here that's, you know, it's funny, sometimes in the past here, we've come to these different conferences, and when we were back at CES a while back here, it was interesting because we made a recommendation or told a company that this is something you should do. They're going, oh my gosh, we never thought about it. I'm thinking, well, where's my cut? So let's head back around this other side here and see if we can find one over here. I think we'll serpentine back around here. Like I said, if you miss part of this live broadcast, that's okay, because what we're going to do is we'll edit this down so you can watch it a little later, and then pause it and say, all right, I want to know more about something that Eric showed here, or Eric showed there, or who that company is. So we'll be working on it for you. It'll take a little time, it'll take a few weeks, but today we're live on the floor. Well, we were on the side before, so let's come back around here and figure out what I made a mistake, and I should have probably came back on the other side. But there's some stuff on the other side that we have missed here that we got to get back to. We talked about this at CES, and I want to touch on this today because there's a lot of booths here that aren't necessarily interested in selling their product to the consumer. They're here to say, you know what, I'm hoping some bigger company is going to pick me up, take the product, fold it into their own product, and actually do something big, big, big with it. So some of these companies that are in here have products that are just starting to hit the market here. So let's head down and across this other side over here. To get this camera, and I don't know if you can see this, way out there, way, 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 way out there. How much weight it takes as a cantilever to make that happen up there. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. That's a lot of weight. This is some of the stuff that happened.
Oops, sorry.
Spectral highlight. Worst ever.
This is really nice here because what's happening right over here on the side here is somebody that's explaining some of the stuff I was talking about before when the light comes in and out of the eye of what you actually see here. He's kind of explaining it, what you're seeing in lighting. The idea of to make a good shot, if some of you out there have maybe done some photography before, you're going to see, you know what, how do I don't want the whole face lit. I just want a perspective of a little bit of dark here, a little light here. This is some of the stuff he's talking about, and what he's talking about over here is that reflection from the eyes. Very, very good stuff. So you can be walking through the conference floor here, and you can learn stuff that would take you forever to learn right here. I walk into the guy's booth where he's trying to sell you some big, big, big lights. I don't think we've been down this side over here yet. Let me see. No, we went this way. Let's go ahead, and if we could, cameraman, let's go ahead and circle back around. I'm trying to figure out always when I'm walking here, trying to see what I'm looking at here, and what I'm actually seeing. A lot of control stuff here. Let's slip down this way because I don't think we caught this part of the conference yet over here. A lot of cameras, So let's go into tripods. Let's talk about tripods because tripods are something that even our own company here, we're constantly learning more about. You can spend on a tripod anywhere from, I don't know, stupid amounts of money, like $20, $30. That's not the kind of tripod you want to get. You can go into maybe $100, $150 to $200. To me, a tripod's important because this is the thing. Number one, it's holding your camera. This is the thing that's going to make it stable. This makes it easy for you to come and take your shot. How long do you want to sit down and figure out how the tripod needs to work? You know, so I would say that if you're looking at a tripod, just to start with something simple, something easy, something that is not too much money, maybe $100 for your camera. And then once you say, you know what, I need something else, then invest that next piece. And it's always nice to have a backup tripod. We've learned that before where we've been on the field there, and all of a sudden we're looking going, one of the bolts came off the tripod. So we got our backup just in case. Company here looks like they do a lot of tripod work. A lot of big cameras testing stuff over here. Here's another example where you have in the background a little studio to test the stuff that you're using. So there's a lot of equipment out here. People can walk up here and say, all right, how's it work? See if you like it.
Sir, I think I saw you at Entourage, unless you buy a ticket.
I think one of the things that I like in lighting, when we first started doing different stuff here, is we were using, different incandescent type lighting, with different wavelengths of K. And today, with everything going to LED, it takes less energy. We can do it in the field without having a lot of batteries being carried around, and it does a lot of light. I mean, this stuff will really carry you.
So,
Spotlighting. Spotlighting is important. I think one of the most famous pieces of spotlighting that I love is back with Bela Lugosi with the Dracula movies, where they shine a spotlight just on his eyes, and it's all you see is his eyes. Spotlighting. Let's head back this way, then we'll come back over here in a moment. Almost looks like our GoPro bag. Okay, I think we've been around this side. Let's get over here. We saw the tripod company here. Let's see what we can find over here. We're gonna do something fun. We're gonna cut right through the booth here. I think that a lot of companies did bail out of this, I understand, because they weren't sure about the audience that was going to show up for this year. You can see on the floor here today, a lot of the conference room is not even done, not even being used, I should say, or the convention area, I should say. So there was supposed to be a lot of innovation this year of new things. I'm not really seeing it quite yet, but a lot of this stuff is hardware. Hardware doesn't change that much. You might see LEDs and saying, all right, what wavelengths can we do? What kind of color, what kind of density can we do in this small little spot here? We have a little, for example, we have a little LED light that we use for our GoPros. It's a little thing, it's only about this big, puts out an amazing amount of light. Podcast equipment here, podcast tables, all kinds of different podcast tables. And this is, I'm going to swing around over here because this is kind of interesting. This is where you're going to have this table here sets up for 4 people on a table. You have cameras, a place you can mount 4 different cameras. So now each person is going ahead and has a camera on them. Not only that, but you're podcasting. To me, where audio podcasting is nice because you listen to it in the car, you can listen to it while you're at the gym or whatever. The next step is truly video podcasting. And because the prices on this equipment have come down so much, or even a lot of the supporting equipment, we're going to see more and more of this all the time here. Let's come across and let's go back over this side over here. All right, what are we walking into now? I guess if you're a big studio, small, even a small, you know, it's kind of fun talking about a little bit of history. I don't know, there was a local TV station, it was KHIZ, and you look at all this big, major production that's going on, but actually the room it was being done in was sometimes hardly any bigger than a master bedroom. But that's where it all happened. You're going to have all the lighting. Everything is really close knit, so a lot of these studios are not as big as you think they would be.
Hey, seriously, if you'll follow up on this.
All the lighting. Now here's a different kind of a light bar.
I need it. Did they give us?
And
Yeah, did they give us?
I'm not sure what to think of it over here. Let's see if we can get in closer to it here.
Well, but I thought that they had like a box.
Let's come back over here and take a look here at this here real quick. So I'm interested in here of seeing what this is going to do to my eyes. I can see the light bar in my eyes. It's not a circle. It's just, it looks like more of a tag on the top of my eyes. You can see up here. When you're working with lighting like this and it's really condensed lighting, you can just barely see in there a little bit of light on top of it. But you know what? This is a lot better than having a halo light, I would say. Very interesting. Very good stuff. Let's head back over this side here. Weave through the crowd here.
Whoever worked with like.
I don't know why this one's interesting me over here, but I'm going to come over and see what it is. I guess it's just a wall of lights. What they're probably showing here, I think they're just showing exactly the different lighting they have for the different pieces. So this one's kind of interesting over here. Over here we have one here has an array of lights, so you can change it. Now this is now a new technology. I know it's getting more popular today where if I'm in front of this, I might want more red light here, more white light here, or blue light. This one over here, I don't know if you can catch it over here, is doing exactly that. Now that's a light box. That's a big light box. It's tough to get one bigger than that. I think they win the award. And all these things are in the background are just LEDs that are different lights. You can do whatever you want to do with these. You know what? Let's come over and experiment with one here. Let's come around this side here. And if you could, I don't know who's operating this here, but I want to see if we can make this happen here. Maybe have somebody change the wavelength of color. So you're going to have to hit me like this, right through here. So you can see that one side of my face is going to have a little bit of a blue. The other side's going to have a little green. It's probably not a very good example of what I'd probably want, but it allows you now to be creative. Oh, there's the red light. So in this red I'm seeing here, I'm seeing the density that was really a dark red to a light red on one side. Now I'm seeing a kind of a light green over across. Now I'm seeing straight red. It's nice what you can do with different effects. And if that light there, if that's a $500 light or a $1,000 light or whatever it is, trust me, by next year it'll probably be half the price.
Be careful.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, thank you very much. All kinds of obstacles. You gotta, when you're walking these convention floors, if you don't look down at your feet occasionally, you're gonna fall on your nose. Now we're gonna swing back around to this booth here in a minute. Let's go back around this side and come back to this booth.
What you were saying that
Earpieces. And that's what they're showing here. Is what is it, how do I communicate with my team? So I have an earpiece in the ear here. Some of them, for example, this company here showing here, are invisible earpieces. So when my cameraman or my director want me to say, you know what, Eric, you need to be doing something different here, or you need to you're running out of time, or you need to back off, or whatever, he's telling me through my earpiece. I'm Not sure what I saw over there, but we'll see it when we come back around the other side. So that allows and has mirrors in there, so you can catch an angle that you would never ever do, because you don't want the camera way up here off the side. This is higher level stuff, but every once in a while when you're doing your small stuff, you're going to run into a situation where you're going, I want this shot, I want it low to the ground, I want it like this, but how do I get there? So there's always ways, little tricks you'll learn how to do your best shot.
But what we do.
Big console there. Big boards, big boards. All right, we're on the other side of this booth here. All right, let's come back this way here. Remote sound. Let's talk about that a little bit, because sometimes when we're doing stuff, we'll actually take a separate sound device that's recording, and what we do is we use a timer, a time code to match it from the video to the sound recorder that's separate. On the floor here, because some of the things that we find that things are the simpler, the more complicated you make them, the more things are going to go wrong. And we've made this, try to keep this as simple as we can. We'll share more of that stuff. I think that's important, that maybe in the future we do a little piece there and saying, all right, what is it we're doing that is working for us? Because that's the example you want. You don't want all these people to tell you about all this stuff that's going through the hill here, going over the hill, I should say. But you know what? It's what is actually working, somebody can prove out there, is more important than anything else. I love this little news broadcasting rooms and stuff they're put together here. I don't think we went down this aisle here. We have talked about, just before the pandemic, of doing some different little conference pieces, or doing little room things where people that might want to get together and start doing more video stuff, maybe a local sense, or some of the areas that our program reaches. I'm just showing what we're doing, so it allows more people. The more people that are doing this out there, the better. And so we're getting to the point where, like I said, as things get cheaper, and see more people. Look at all the people doing stuff on YouTube today. It's huge. All right, headsets, wireless, more wireless stuff. Wireless is real important, real important. And I didn't really want to get too much into this. Oh, you know what? This is a good example of what's behind a shotgun mic. So a lot of times when you look at a shotgun mic, including ours, I'm going to hand me ours here real quick. Go ahead and hand me that. Where's the cover for it? It's in there somewhere. All right, sorry about that. So I want to come and use the example here. So you'll see a lot of these things being done by different news people, or the stuff that you want to do. What shotgun mic is designed to do is centralize the sound, so it's very directional. And so I just wanted to show you, this is a good example of what it looks like. And here's what ours is. It's got the wireless at the end on it here, and it's designed so the sound shoots right through this. I'm going to hand that back to the cameraman. Let's move around the other side over here. Let's see what we have over here. So I just kind of caught my eye and I had to run away from you a little bit. This looked like it was jewelry. These are probably pieces you put jewelry on, right, in a some type of storefront, and they have a bunch of cables on it. I just thought that was fun. Let's take a look at it over here. Let's slip around this side over here. Another company over here doing a lot of wireless video and a lot of wireless audio. Soundproof studio there, soundproof doors. I like it. So do you need We may need to check in with our studio here. Do we need to check in with the studio now, or not? Are we okay? Why don't you check in with the studio while we're walking around, make sure that we're still okay? Because we're getting calls on that? No? We're okay? Good. All right, let's see what we got on this side over here. RTS makes a lot of the different sound devices. A different company, a different type of way of going about this. When you decide to go doing some wireless stuff here, you want to maybe take a step back and saying, all right, here's where I'd like to reach. What happens when I buy this? Learning through the process is very, very important. Sometimes you'll get up having an array of equipment out there, but if you talk to everybody that's doing this, they didn't buy the equipment just one time and are using it forever. They have a whole closet full of stuff there because you learn from it, and also the technology keeps getting better and better and better and better. I'm going to do a sound test with the cameraman real quick here. Go ahead and give me a test on the audio on my earphone. You need to bring it up a little bit here. I need to just say something to me because I'm not hearing you. 1 second here. I got it now. Sorry about that. We had to take a minute here to make sure my earpiece is working correctly. More mics. EV mics. All right, did we get down this aisle here? I don't think we did. All right. I'm still looking around, trying to make sure we're picking out things that would be interesting for you folks that are starting this or that have started this and been trying to figure out how to get to the next level. A lot of shotgun mics. Microphone on the violin. I love it. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring us across over here. A lot of this stuff here is I'm hoping we find somebody here that we can see, and we may not find it here. This is probably the closest thing I've run across, is where we'll have, so you get to the point where you've been doing this for a while and you're saying, you know what, I need to make my own studio desk, no matter, maybe it's in your garage, but you want somewhere that's movable, a big desk that allows you to have multiple monitors on it, so you can do see everything that's going on. So while you're editing, maybe the live feed or whatever, we're going to see if we can find some of these companies that have these type of things that hold the monitors for you. When you get flying with this, you're going to find that editing is going to be a big issue with the power of your computer, because what you're going to find on your computer is not going to be powerful enough. We find this in some of our school sites where they're doing editing. So they'll go ahead and they'll do all this whole video out there. They'll come back to the school site because the school site has not upgraded the machines. Then it takes longer than the period for them to actually edit it. And then when the next class comes, they can't use that computer because it's still now rendering the video from the person earlier. Having a lot of power in the computer is very, very, very important. And you got to figure out how to keep up with this. Even with some of the stuff that we've done over the last 2 or 3 years, our equipment now is starting to lag behind. We're having renderings that used to take 5 to 10 minutes to do. Now they're kind of creeping up to 20 minutes to 30 minutes because the software is more advanced. It's sucking up more space. The videos that we're doing are a lot more complex. They have a lot more different pieces that are edited into them. So let's move on down here. Now you might be just kind of touching on this a little bit. thinking, oh my gosh, Eric, you mean I have to come through and I have to figure out edit my videos? Today when I was talking about the Adobe line, there's a lot of other pieces of software. There's different software that works with specifically to Apple machines, software works specifically to PCs. Adobe's probably one of the most popular for just the consumer market. They're not that hard to learn. You just got to put the time into it. You'll make mistakes, and I tell you, the nice thing about today is compared to what it would be 20 years ago is, if you don't know something, you go on YouTube and there's somebody there to explain it to you. All right, let's go off this way, Mr. Cameraman. See what we can find. I think we already went this way. But I want to get down to this booth down here. Somehow or another we went down the wrong aisle. So this is to stop the light from not being where you want it. So if you take a look over here, Mr. Cameraman, so what you have are these panels here that are actually movable. So you can say, all right, I want the light only right here. I don't want it somewhere else. So you can adjust your lighting if you have it in your little studio of your garage or whatever. So still very inexpensive. All right, let's see. This is where we want to come back to before here. All right. I think we're on the right track now. Personalized hand grips on the cameras. I love that. Oh, I got a dolly here in my way. So let's zoom by the dolly here. We'll take a picture of their dolly while they're taking a picture of ours. If you come up here, we'll see it walk by us here.
Back to your executive producer and say, look, I appreciate that. I really want to go in this direction.
Maybe we can swing him back around and show what he's showing here.
If it's not the way to go at that point, let it go.
It's a dolly that the guy there is just kind of walking around with, and he's getting some great cinematographic shots. It's very, very nice. All right, let's back around this way.
You would be amazed at the brilliant little nuggets of expensive employee who has a different perspective on a problem than the folks at the top.
This is nice because here's one of those other ones, interactive type little conference pieces here. And what he's talking about here is respect the other person, because the person that's working with you, because their perspective might be just a little bit different, that it might add to what you have. Keeping an open mind. So why don't we move across here, the other side here. Different types of soft lights. The big jellyfish ones. That's why I call them jellyfish. Jellyfish. Here's some more examples of dollies moving around for your camera. No matter if it's motorized or not, you can go and get the right effect you want for it's a different angle. Very, very nice stuff. Very, very nice. I'm going to come around. This is a good example of top lighting. And this top lighting effect here, he's doing here. When you're doing your lighting, you might want to have one light that's giving you a perspective to the side. A soft light may be very, very soft over here, might be a little bit different color, but also make sure you have something on the top up here so you get the light. If you look at the gentleman here that's showing his different mechanicals here, otherwise you just look flat. All right, let's see what else we can find here. A lot of wireless video. Here's another wireless video company. This is actually companies that we were considering their equipment on, but it was a little bit out of what we wanted to throw in our price range here. But just so for to go ahead, camera that'd be on the street. wireless video coming back to where the studio was that we had actually in the motorhome. But the problem was what we hit out there was so much, because there's so many people on the parade route, they're using their cell phones, so we couldn't get out a signal, and we kept running into interference with this because everybody was broadcasting something across there. So think about it, where you are, and it's amazing that we're able to do this in this room here and actually keep a live stream flowing. You might find there was ups and downs with it. This place is equipped for us. Shoot a piece of the driver of the car. One of the things we have done is we've worked with using the GoPros, but it doesn't overheat. There's other reasons I don't want to get into right now. But we'll have, for example, have a GoPro shooting, a GoPro on the other side inside shooting that way, another GoPro over here shooting forward. Here. That's cool. I really like that. That is really neat. More dollies. More dollies over here. Dollies on the... It's interesting where a lot of this has gone. If you watch some of these news programs where you see multiple cameras in ES. And this is another perfect example. If we could catch this up here. Maybe come around this side here. LED panels. This is an industry start seeing all over. One of the things that we're looking at in a Sparrow Unified School District is the stage. Stage having a whole wall of LED panels like this, where you can go and make any type of scene you want in the back for the drama department or the band play and so forth. But what I want to show is what it looks behind it, and then we're going to show you what it looks like in front of it in just a second here. So I don't know if there's a limit to how many of these you can put together. Probably your limit is what you can hang. Down at the graduation last year for Sparrow Unified School District, behind the whole, so you could see the students as they were coming up on stage and getting the diplomas. Cameraman, can we come through here, you think? So I'm not really sure what to be able to show here. I don't know the difference in the quality that I'm seeing here. I'm going to say it's the quality as I've seen, but this is a pretty good quality one here. But then again, it's just the demo that's being shown here. So you're going to see possibly even in your own, imagine your TV in your house, not being a 65, 75, and 85-inch TV, but maybe on a whole wall, the whole wall, very, very thin. You'll see on a lot of the sides of the buildings. We'll put this up. This is just advertising. You'll be going down the freeway and find a big billboard that's using LEDs like this. Now we're looking at this very, very close. If we were a long way away, you wouldn't see each pixel in this case. But a lot of the companies I've seen in the past here are so clean when you get up to them, right up to them, you can't even hardly see the pixels. I think we need to come back around this side, cameraman. I don't think we've been over here. So, I am kind of looking at, so if we come around and show this side here, because I think it's important, we were very, very close to those monitors before. Now let's take a look at them from a little bit of a distance. So let's say we had a stage production going on here. We wouldn't be this close. And see what they're doing in the background up there? That's pretty solid, isn't it? That's very, very, very clean. Very, 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 very clean. So if you take a look from the distance, when you have the distance, you don't see each little tiny speck, or this little LED, I should say. This is something here that I had somebody else that turned me on to. If we could swing around here. You know, I want to introduce my cameraman here today. William is doing an amazing job for us here. Amazing job. But this work, he's got to track me around this whole floor to figure out exactly where I am and what I'm doing here. So take a look at the lighting in the background here. Somebody just introduced me to this type of effect, and I would like to do this. Is have the camera go on the other side of this over here, shoot through it, and I'm going to go on the inside. Let's go ahead and try that. So he's moving around here, and I'm hoping it's going to go back to the other view it had before. So this is something somebody shared with me, and I don't know if he's going to be able to sneak between these or not. Are you going to be able to get between them? Oh, you sure can. Perfect. Maybe. You got me? Or back up a little bit? There we go. How's that? That looks pretty good. I'm hoping it's going to go back to that other pattern that I had a few moments ago. Because if you notice there, what it changes, when you are outside, sometimes the lighting changes with you all over the place. Now look at that. That's full red. So I hope it goes back to the pattern it had before a moment ago. But sometimes when you're outside and you want that effect where the leaves, the sun's coming through the leaves a little bit, well, he turned me on to this idea, and sure enough, here it is right here. Well, I feel like if I pattern, but I don't think it's going to. Oh, there's something completely different. Oh my gosh. From this side too, boy, that. Let's move. Here's a different effect where we have the different colors of light. That's pretty good. And we got the red, the green's disappearing, the green's coming back in. So, a great example of what lighting can do, and I don't mean to take too much time here, but I just want to go ahead and see the full effect of it. Very, very good. Let's move on here. I think what I'd like to hopefully find here today, and I don't know if you can see it, this is a full example of it. It doesn't take much. That's what they're using in the background. I'm showing you what's on. Examples later on where you have pole that's maybe a $20 pole, it's holding up another light band so you can have all the lights. Next thing you know, you really don't have too much in it. There really isn't. Let's move across over here. So I know we were on the other side over there. Here. Now even in our motorhome today, so when we happen to be at our motorhome is for pleasure, obviously, but I don't know if you can see at the angle over here that they see the TV in there. We have the TV in the motorhome, so if, for example, if the director or the camera person or one of the technicians is doing some editing, they have to do editing on the spot. It's nice to have a big TV to do it from, say, all right, this is what it really looks like. This is fun. I love this booth here. You have a background that's a little bit fuzzed out. The cameras are here. You have the actor in the middle that's just standing on a workbench with all kinds of little pieces so that if you need to zoom in to see, all right, what is that little piece there? What's that little piece look like? Another great example of showing this, showing what the booth can do for you. Let's see if we can head back this way here in a moment. I think that we're about, are we about halfway through this building, I believe here. I feel like we are. But we're still seeing a lot of high level stuff. I still want to find a lot of that, the entry level stuff or the second level stuff that I think most of you would be more than interested in. All right. right, let's come back over here. See what we can find. A lot of this stuff is very high level stuff. We might be just going into an area of the convention floor that is very high technical stuff. The stuff that has to be done to make the videos pop and be perfect. Camera covers?
Yeah. Like the first 1,000 million.
Sorry.
That's okay. Here. Yeah, you've got a little space going on there. Cases, like I said before, cases are something we're constantly working with. Microphones. If you're doing a podcast, let's say from your desk inside your house, you know, a good quality microphone, a good quality room. You might even find that when you look at your video that you're having to edit out too much sound that's background noise. You know, put some panels up, put some simple stuff you can, if you say, well, I don't want to attach stuff to my wall, stuff you can either prop from the floor, you know, little pieces of foam or stuff like this to kind of absorb some of that background noise, so you don't have to spend all the time editing it out. We spend a lot of time editing the sound out. Fortunately, some of the products today are getting better at that. I know this isn't for a talk show, but can you imagine a talk show with that many people here with that many microphones on this? Oh my gosh, how could you keep it? Now that's not what it's for, but I thought it's kind of funny. I kind of wait for my cameraman. I think he's working on some stuff and needs to get caught up on here. So in the meantime, we'll talk about something while he's doing something here. If you're wanting to do an in-home podcast, you know, you're going to want, like I said, you're going to want a good quality mic. Can you run it back with your computer system? Yeah, if it's an audio podcast, audio does not take very much power from your computer. You can do that with a real simple computer. It doesn't take much at all. Some of the software out there is fairly inexpensive to do podcasts. There's even probably, there's another product, and I'm trying to think of the name of it, and I'll think about it in a minute here. Remember, I asked my cameraman what that is. It's a free product that you can actually record to. It'll do a lot of editing for you. It'll clean up your stuff. And so really what you have is a microphone. The microphone is on some type of a stand or something, or some way that you're holding, either from a desk mount or something that is more flexible, but I totally forgot the name of it. More like this here. If we could show this here, William. So that you can get the mic exactly where you want it in front of you. From there on, it's nice to probably have a surface, like a platform, a clipboard that you can put your paperwork on and stuff you want to talk about. And you know what? You're podcasting. And to podcast out through some of these organizations out there, there's a ton of them out there that you can put your stuff on. You just start talking about what you want to talk about, get it out there, tell your story. And then when you want to get to the video level, that's a different level, but that's makes it even more fun. He was listening to the whole thing. We're back around the RTS side over here again. All right. Actually, we're doing pretty good here in this floor area here. There's more studio type control equipment here. A lot of stuff happens behind the studio. You know, something that I had a friend of mine in the past there that talked about studio work. And he says, what happens, you'll have all these techs saying, oh yeah, if we had this, if we had that, if we could do this or we could do that, we could do so much better. But you know, when the end result gets done, he used to tell me, he goes, not that much better. So you just spent $100,000 to get 5% better. Very interesting thought when you're running a business. But what they do is they sell it to the guys that own the TV company. So, well, you can't do this unless you have all this stuff. Do you? Now if you're broadcasting, that's different. If you're just cutting video, there's a lot of other ways of doing it. All right, so I got control stuff, more lighting stuff over here. Let's come back around this side here. I still am looking, besides food and drink, I need to find, we got to find stuff that fits the stuff that we want to talk about.
That's what I use.
And I think we've been down on this floor area before here. So I think I want to come down here to the theater and loop back around.
I got a little closer to the
There's a whole other part of this floor here, the conference area. And I was showing here, you know, showing a police chase, right? And there's a whole other area that just has equipment for that. You know, here's some more examples of simple stuff. This is a company that's popular out there. Very, very simple.
but
Just another good example of it. Nice piece of product. Circular shotguns. I'm not sure they call them that or not. I think they're called omnidirectional. That's kind of seems to be an oxymoron. An omnidirectional shotgun mic? Interesting.
It's a product.
More folks here just doing exactly what we're doing. Now we were already here, but I want to still come down at the end down here and loop back around this other piece so we don't miss anything over there. Sometimes these convention room. All right, let's get back around this side here. Whole thing a different tapestry. What backdrops do you need? Interesting.
Networking connectivity wise, is that the question you're asking? Yeah.
All right. More lighting over here. I've seen this before, but I never actually saw what it looked like here. When you're talking about the boom mic, the boom man, right? He has his own little thing over his head there. I like that. It's kind of interesting. See where he's able to turn it, go different angles. I don't know if you can catch that or not. So you can focus it exactly where you want the sound to come from and not catch any other sound. This one makes it a little tough to see from.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, all right, where do you want me to go now? What am I supposed to be looking? But I do like it. That's pretty neat. You got it mounted right to the helmet here, if you can see that. This stuff's all important, but as you're getting along and you're getting from that beginning level to the next level, entry level, you're always thinking, going, how do I get that shot? And that's where people like this come in saying, this is how you get that shot. Thank you, guys. All right. Let's see what we have over here. Big equipment, big equipment, big equipment. Let's go ahead and let's down this aisle this way for a little bit of the traffic to go by here.
Putting a bigger size camera on here. What's going on?
Nice, simple. See the teleprompter over here? Very, very simple, very, very small. And I bet that's, without finding out more information on it, it's probably right in within our price range here. If you feel you need a teleprompter, like I said earlier, I usually do the best stuff I do when it comes off the cuff. Talk from your mind, talk from your heart. That's where you're going to capture your audience the best. Nice little piece, real small. More dolly equipment, remote equipment. Teleprompter mirrors, not mirrors, but so when you see your favorite politician talking and they just see these two class panes, if you can swing back around over here, this is what is being shown here. So it's designed, it's pre-programmed ahead of time. For example, me, I would need at this level. This gentleman here doesn't need the same level that I do you?
No, I don't.
So he's going to have the reflectors come down, but the teleprompter's reflecting back off. So when you see them looking at you out there, I'm sorry, they don't have all the stuff memorized. Guys like this provided them the equipment. Thanks, guys. Remote cameras. A lot of remote cameras. Remote cameras seem to be getting really big, because I think the price is coming down on them so much that, I mean, gosh, so I'm sorry, Mr. Cameraman, I don't know what we're going to do. Let's head across this way. There's a PTZ camera. PTZ is for them. But you take a look at it, it's not only here, it's almost like an extendable selfie stick coming out of a box. And then that camera can do, I'm sure, 360 degrees. This is pretty nice. So, all right, you're in your garage. You're going to build your own little studio system, right? There he is right there. So you look at the table, he's got the green screen on the table. Now these things are what we call virtual studio software. They're images, for example, but the desk isn't there at all. The desk will be there. I wonder if we can swing around and get an example of what he's got in front of her. Maybe we can swing around here, Mr. Cameraman. Maybe you're gonna have to take this angle here. So what she has is she has not only the green screen in the background here, she's got the green screen on the table, but look at the table. I love that. It's almost like a heavy texture. And you'll see when he was reaching his hand in, he's not part of the green screen, so he showed up. So well, let's see here. If she comes back into frame here. She's running? Is that what she's doing? She's running right now through it all. There it is. Oh no, it's coming into the studio. See here? There we go. We're coming into her now. She's now in the studio. She's on the Amazon, I believe, somewhere. So it gives you an idea of what you can do with it. So what do you have here? You have a desk they painted green. You have a backdrop here that's green. It's a nice little. I can't say something loud. I can't hear her. Did you really say something or just fake it? Did you really go? There you go. So, you know, sound is important. This stuff can all be edited out, but it's nice when it's not ever there at all. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's come back around here. All right, we saw that already. I'm not sure if this is anything that we're going to be interested in. This is not they're doing payroll software here. We're not doing payroll today. Even though I think my cameraman, William, was probably wishing we're doing payroll today, right?
I'd like to get this world.
That's pretty amazing, that sound booth back there. If they were truly yelling at us, it just shows you how nice it is to be in a room there where it is totally quiet. Matter of fact, when you're in sound rooms like that that are dead sound, it's almost creepy. We're going to head across. What we're going to do is we're going to check out this is the central hall. move into this, and we may even move over to the West Hall today, or actually not the West Hall, the North Hall on the other side over here. So, Mr. Cameraman, are you okay? Good? All right, let's try coming across over here and see what we can find. Hitachi's booth. This blows me away. In the past, your Hitachi's booth would be probably a booth that would be